Hello, everyone. Hello. My name is Jeffoti Prince, your celebrity farmer. Thank you once again for joining me. This will be an amazing time together because there's something I'll be sharing with you at the end of this video. It's a tip that will change your life forever. You're going to make millions from this. So make sure you watch this video to the end. Right now, follow me. Anywhere you find this video, on Facebook, wherever, just click on my profile, or if you see any follow button, just click follow and follow me on Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, and if it's on YouTube, subscribe to this channel and get the latest updates on issues on agriculture. Okay, let's go into it right away. The last time we spoke about the video on the African Continental Free Trade Areas, and someone sent me an amazing message on LinkedIn. I'm very happy when you send me messages. And now this is what Mr. Chidi Ogudu said. Mr. Chidi said, everything about the free African trade zone is just paperwork that people go and sign documents and all of that because in doing business between Nigeria and Ghana. And one of the major challenges he faces is transporting his commodities, his produce from Nigeria to Ghana. He said it was really a total mess because then when you want to transport goods like that, you need to transport them in bulk to be able to make more and also save more in terms of fuel and all of that. Now, he said for us to be able to make this a reality in Africa, the African Free Trade Zone, we need at least railways that will connect different African countries, especially the countries that have signed to this. As we speak, President, 44 African countries have signed. This is the largest agreement ever, largest number of people signing for free trade. Ever in the world. The largest, we are looking at a $3.4 trillion market. It's massive. We are looking at so many opportunities. Now, he said we need railways, and to him, he thinks it's all a mess. Now, I want to say this is really important. I share with him his pain because his experience, and this is what he has experienced. Yeah, it's not just about saying things reading things and just talking. So this is an experience. But I want to say that when I share things like this online, it's just for education, for us to be able to understand that these things are happening in Africa and we should join the wagon, we should join the train, we should be there together, we should be able to promote initiatives like this. We need to share information so people out there who don't even know what is going on in terms of the free African trade zone, because there's just little information on that, especially in terms of videos, educating people about this brilliant initiative in Africa right now. So sharing that doesn't mean that I don't think there are challenges that we are going to face in terms of trying to implementing this really brilliant initiative. One of the major challenges we're going to face is at the level of the tariff and the non-tariff. Now, for us to get all these countries to sign is one thing. For us to get them to implement what they've signed is another thing. Because then you'll be now at the level of the different institutions that are meant within these countries to implement what has been signed in the agreement. And we're looking at the level of tariffs. Now, with this free trade zone, we are expecting that we are going to have little or no tariffs in terms of products. Like, for instance, if I'm bringing my cocoyams, normally, if presently now, if you take things to different countries like Nigeria and all of that, there is a fee you have to pay at the level of the custom, at the level of the police officers, and all of these different things. Now, these tariffs are things that you have to pay. But now sometimes it's they are exorbitant. They are it's so high in such a way that at the end of paying all this, your transportation costs and all of that, you don't really make profit out of it. So at the level of the tariffs, this is what the trade zone is all about, to reduce these tariffs, the poor road and railways. Like Mr. Ogudu mentioned, this is true in Africa, very true. There are countries with really bad roads in Africa. Now, we could have Nigeria with good roads, but when you probably come to Cameroon, the situation might be different. When you go to Ghana, the situation might be different. So I think if we want this to work, we must be able to invest in our infrastructure. It's not just at the level of the roads. You also have to look at the level of good hotels, because when people can't bring this produce or product to your country, they will need to rest. We need good hotels. We're also looking at warehouses. We need to construct warehouses. We are looking at cold rooms. We need to get them for perishable goods where people can bring these products and be able to have all these different facilities. So infrastructure is very important. Railways are, in short, the most important thing, because normally when you want to transport things in bulk, the best means of transportation is either through a cargo ship or you use what they call the railways. And this is what is really good, because with the railways, you can be able to transport massive cargo. You can transport a lot of things in bulk and take it anywhere you want to go to. And I think it's even more faster than when you're using cars and all of that. The next thing is political unrest. It is no news that in Africa there is conflict in most countries. Mozambique, there's insecurity in Nigeria. We are looking at also insecurity in Cameroon, Boko Haram, and all of these things that are in Africa. Libya, Somalia, all these insecurities. And there is no way business can survive or thrive in an environment of conflict and war, an environment of kidnapping, an environment where you're not sure you're going to get your goods to its destination. There is no way, because then people will be afraid. So security is very important. The safety of people is very important. So I think that if we want to succeed in this, we must be able to resolve the different conflicts we have in Africa. It's very important so that people can easily transport things easily, free, and they won't be afraid to be killed or won't be afraid to be kidnapped or their goods stolen. So it's very important that we address the political issue. And also looking at the political conditions between African countries, looking at their relationship, their bilateral relationships, and all of that. There are some countries within Africa that have issues. So different countries that have political issues and differences. So for us to be able to get this, we must be able to set aside our differences and understand that this is an agreement signed by 44 different countries in Africa. And we must respect this agreement and forget about our political issues, which means if we have differences in it should not affect what is going on in terms of trade. Trade has to go on. So I hope this has been implemented in the agreement already. The next thing we are looking at is excessive border bureaucracy. Now, in most countries like Cameroon, before you get the produce from one town to the other, sometimes you meet about 7 police checkpoints and gendarmes. They will stop you and ask for money. Some will stop you and delay. You will delay and all of that, spending hours per checkpoint. So this excessive bureaucracy and checks are things that they are already in the agreement. What they want to do is one border check post, where in any country you get into, you have just a single border checkpoint, or where you probably you show your declaration or the declaration of your goods, you show all your documents and all of that, and then you travel easily. So with this, you'll be able to reduce this bureaucracy, because bureaucracy consumes time. Imagine you spending 2-3 hours per checkpoint, and probably you're taking your goods not just from Cameroon to Nigeria, but probably you want to get right to Lagos. Imagine the towns you're going to pass, city upon city, and this and that, meeting every checkpoint, discussing with every policeman. Trust me, it's going to take you a long time. And especially for perishable goods, they are going to get spoiled. So this bureaucracy is something that we must eliminate. Next thing we're looking at is petty corruption. Petty corruption. We understand and know that there's a lot of corruption. So in short, Africa is so corrupt. The leaders, the system is so corrupt. But for us to be able to succeed in these trade agreement, for us to be able to succeed, we must be able to get to a point where we are able to fight corruption. We are able to make sure that everywhere people go is corruption free. Because if I'm taking my produce to Ghana, I should go there with a free mind, not going there to corrupt any official. Because when you keep putting monies in the pockets of people, you're reducing the profit at the end of the business. So the essence of every businessman, the essence of this free trade area or zone is for people to make money. But when there's a system which is corrupt, no one can survive in such a system. Dishonesty, corruption, nepotism, favoritism, all these malice, all these things has to be out of this. It should be a system that is accountable. It should be a system that is trustworthy, reliable, so that business can thrive successfully. Domestic factors. You're looking at domestic factors. These are also different areas. Now, within the country, now we need to get goods from one point A to point B, one country to another. But if at the level of the country, there are challenges for the goods even to leave, to move to the next African country, then the whole initiative will be, it's failed from even coming into existence. It's a whole failure. Now, there are domestic issues in terms of, let's look at this. We need good roads domestically. In terms country-wise, we need good roads, because these things, goods have to live from the country to other countries. So we need good roads. Now, when we are talking about agricultural commodity, there has to be huge investment in the agricultural sector, because 90, almost probably, let's say Probably about 80% of this trade is based on agriculture. It's based on agriculture because Africa is predominantly an agricultural continent. So it's based on agriculture. So if we are to succeed, there must be massive investment in the agricultural sector, the domestic level, national level. When we are talking of investment, what are we looking at? We are looking at farm to market roads. We are looking at warehouses. We are looking at different storage houses. We are looking at the logistic companies. We are looking at all these different things. We must be able to have this. We must be able to have this. We're also looking at bureaucracy for us to be able to get, let's say, documents, let's say, in terms of having our phytosanitary documents, or in terms of having our different declaration nationally. We should be able to reduce all the different bureaucracy that exists within our nations, especially in Cameroon. So nationally, there must be huge investment in the agricultural sector, in the transport, the logistics sector, our infrastructure. We also have to look at human capital because the inter-African trade zone, the free trade zone area does not only deal with goods. We're also looking at services. Consultants from all over Africa, from different countries, 44 countries, should be able to go to other countries easily. But when we have a lot of bottlenecks, it becomes very difficult. So it means, what I'm saying is, we must also be able to do what? To deliver, to get good, to invest in human capital. We must invest. The education system within the nations must be quality education. The trainings must be quality training. So when people are leaving to sell their services to other African countries, we can categorically say these services are trustworthy and they are good. They are good. People can trust the service of an expert in Cameroon to work in Ghana. You can trust someone from Ghana to work in Cameroon. So we must develop a human capital, our intellectual capital. We must be able to invest in the educational aspect. So these are domestic issues. So there are so many challenges. And if you watch this video to this point, please make sure you drop a comment and tell me other challenges that I have not mentioned, because I know there are so many I have not mentioned. And also ways at which we can solve these different challenges. Now, I said at the end of my video, I was going to give a tip. Now, my tip is simple. There is a huge opportunity right now in agriculture for you to invest in. I said I was going to say this at the end of the video. There's a huge opportunity for you to invest in agriculture right now. Huge opportunity. Like I said, this is the free African trade zone. So we have different countries to trade. Now, right now, engaged in agriculture. I want you to engage in agriculture. There is a huge opportunity in poultry farming right now. There's a huge market for eggs. Right now, there's a huge market. This is what I wanted to tell you. There's a huge market for eggs right now. Invest in the poultry farm, in layers. If you don't know how to go about it, call me, write me. You have my number, 6723399090, or just write me on all my different social media platforms on LinkedIn, Instagram, and I will get back to you immediately. So thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you. I remain your celebrity farmer. And let's keep sharing ideas like this. Let's keep talking. Let's keep making African great again. Thank you. I love you.